We're here at Barcelona for the final day of pre-season Formula One testing, an intensive workload that began a short month ago in Jerez, Spain, with the teams presenting new cars designed around tighter technical and testing regulations. The focus then shifted to Barcelona, where questions and answers fought an endless battle for supremacy. Let's see what happened. New nose design regulations and a reduction in testing hours, both in the wind tunnel and on the track, define pre-season F1 testing in Spain, first at Jerez for 4 days, and then for 8 days over 2 consecutive weeks in Barcelona. There are several new car driver combinations for 2015. 4 times world champion Sebastian Vettel switched from Red Bull to Ferrari. Double world champion Fernando Alonso left Ferrari to return to McLaren, this time with new Honda power. Toro Rosso signed 2 young rookies, Spain's Carlos Sainz and 17-year-old Max Verstappen from the Netherlands. Daniel Kvyat, after a promising first year with Toro Rosso, graduated to Red Bull alongside Daniel Ricciardo. Sauber signed former Williams test driver, the Brazilian Felipe Nasr, and Sweden's Marcus Ericsson. In addition to Honda's new partnership with McLaren, Lotus F1 switched from Renault to Mercedes power units, with Renault now supplying only 2 teams, Red Bull and Toro Rosso. Sebastian Vettel, unfamiliar in new retro helmet colour scheme, dominated the early wet and dry days of testing at Jerez, drawing a round of applause from his new team as he climbed from the new SF15T at the end of his programme. The much more drivable, new, long-nosed Ferrari, designed by James Allison, also brought a smile to the face of Kimi Räikkönen, who declared it a significant improvement over its 2014 counterpart. Mercedes, world champions in 2014, began to clock mile after testing mile with their new car, displaying solid reliability from the outset. Nico Rosberg covered a staggering 150 laps on that first day at Jerez, a theme that would continue right through to the last day of running in Barcelona. The new Red Bull appeared in a dramatic testing livery designed to conceal the new car's angles and curves, but looked rather more exposed when Daniel Kvyat damaged the nose early in the first run and thereafter ran the day without front wings, gathering as much low-speed data as possible. Force India chose not to run at Jerez, preferring instead to focus on Barcelona, but Lotus F1 trucked their new car through the snow and rain to make it for day 2, a Herculean effort that did just as much for team morale as it did for the drivers' new learning curve with Mercedes power. Less jubilant were McLaren Honda. For the most part, the tightly sculpted MP430 was afflicted by early teething problems, most of which kept the car in the garage for long periods of time. Testing by its nature is unpredictable, and evidence of that came quickly in Barcelona when first Sebastian Vettel spun the Ferrari into the gravel trap on his first lap out of the pits, and then Nico Rosberg repeated the act in the Mercedes. Both were victims of cold tyres in the chill of the morning. Lewis Hamilton stepped out of his car after only a handful of laps, complaining of a fever, and, with Nico Rosberg suffering a pinched nerve in his neck, the result of trying a new driving position in Jerez, third driver Pascal Wehrlein took over testing duties. Then Fernando Alonso hit the wall in turn 3. After being airlifted to hospital in Barcelona with concussion, he recovered quickly, but was ruled out of any further testing and replaced at the final test by Kevin Magnussen. Fast time, soft tyre honours continued to be accrued by Sauber and also by Lotus F1, with the E23 now updated with new aero parts since the hasty first run in Jerez. All went well until Pastor Maldonado hit the wall hard near the end of the last day of testing. Max Verstappen too continued to impress trackside observers with his economy of style, his consistency of lap time and his precision in the new Toro Rosso STR10. It was towards the end of testing and the relative calm of the late afternoon that Mercedes began to show their real one-lap pace, with Nico Rosberg lapping a whole 2.5 seconds faster than Lewis's 2014 pole time. Both Mercedes drivers pronounced themselves very happy indeed with their new cars. Williams and Ferrari were also fast after several days of distance running and aero testing, but the gap to Mercedes on paper still seems to be there. The McLaren Honda covered its first race distance in the final test in the hands of Jenson Button, and the New Force India ran reliably out of the box despite a puncture on its debut lap.
So testing draws to a close with Mercedes still firmly on top and Nico and Lewis very closely matched. Ferrari have made significant progress, as have Sauber and Lotus, and most observers agree that Max Verstappen is a genuine star in the making. Now attention is focused on the Australian Grand Prix at Melbourne, round 1 of the 2015 Formula One World Championship.